our at least five of our favorite luxury homes currently available in Washington County, guys, as well as what I'm calling the deal of the week. This is the St. George Real Estate Morning Drive.
And I'm like,
Good morning. We said it in unison. That was so awesome. I've got Jessica Taggart Marron with us today. Resident luxury real estate specialist. I look, maybe we all are, but this gal really eats, sleeps, drinks, breathes. She inhales it. She has a vape and she just vapes in luxury real estate. That sounds kind of weird, doesn't it?
It does, but
I don't know.
Let's go with it.
But guess what? If somebody was just flipped on the radio, I promise that caught their attention. Luxury home vape, limited time only at your local smoke shop. Don't do that. Don't vape, guys. Come on. Don't do that to yourself. Don't do it yourself. I'm Jeremy Larkin. I've got Jessica Taggart Marron. We're going to be talking about 5 of our favorite luxury homes that are currently available. And one of the conversations that we will open with momentarily is the fact that what used to be luxury, we talked about this with Chantry Abbott with Guild Mortgage a year ago. What used to be luxury a decade ago has really shifted, and I don't know, it's kind of baffling. Our show is brought to you by our friends at Guild Mortgage. Speaking of Guild, Chantry Abbott and his team, Chantry is so involved in what we do. He and I were literally talking about a loan for me on a property in northern Utah yesterday. So he's actively involved. I met with a seller yesterday afternoon. Wonderful gal, downsizing. And most of our listeners know that we really specialize in helping folks downsize, whether that's from a luxury, gigantic luxury home to a smaller luxury home, or maybe it's from a small home to, a senior living facility. And she's downsizing. We're going to move her out of Larkin, 2,800 square feet, to I think about an 1,800 square foot Del Webb property in Mesquite. And I talked about my home inspector, and she said, is this someone you trust? And I said, he has his own key to my house. Mm-hmm. That's Henry Porter. So when I tell this story, Jessica, so people understand, we don't just dispense a name for you, right? Henry has his own key to my house. Chantry doesn't.
I just talked to Henry twice yesterday. He's He's actively in our lives.
You beat me. I was only once. So when we make a referral for our clients at the Larkin Group, whether you're buying, selling, investing, it is going to be someone who we have literally a one-to-one active working relationship with day to day. So guys, deal of the week. This is kind of fun. This is something we really want to focus on. And before you got some cool properties for us, don't you?
I do. Talk about deal of the week. And can I say?
I want you to say.
This may be why I was on academic warning and probation more than once during my academic tenure at BYU.
Oh, whoops! You've been sharing.
Oh shoot! This whole time.
Yeah, you've been sharing the whole time. So go ahead up to the top and hit stop share.
Stop share.
Yeah, there you go. She's new to sharing on Zoom. You're still sharing. Okay.
You're gonna have.
You see I see. Red button that says stop share. Okay.
Guys, I get a little sweaty when I have to do tech stuff.
Okay.
But anyway,
this is good.
Deal of the week. My girlfriends and I, we would write a song. We had a boy of the week in our apartment complex, and we would write a song with their name and their personality and sing "Guy of the Week, Guy of the Week."
Wow.
So I think we need to have a little jingle for Deal of the Week. Is my segue.
The good news is if you had done that today, you would have just thrown it into ChatGPT.
True.
and Chat would have created.
I know, and
something.
then I could have been doing my homework. Actually.
Wonderful for you. That's too funny. I actually know that story, and wow, and that's kind of the way. But listen, you were in college. It's what you do.
It's what you do,
guys. We got a property in Sand Hollow area that it's stranger than fiction, the price on this. My seller purchased this home 3 years ago, peak of the market. And at the time was going to use it as a vacation rental. Things changed in their life. Things changed in the way that the HOA is managed over there. So if you are in the Sand Hollow Resort area and you want to use your home as a short-term nightly rental, there's just a waiting list. So it's completely legal, but you have to be they basically cap it. And they've capped it, which in a way, I mean, prevents like massive oversaturation, right? Mm-hmm. This guy is letting this home go a couple of $100,000 below what he paid. The guy's 4,887 square feet. I want you to just think about this for a minute. 4,887 square feet, 6 beds, 6.5 bathrooms, appropriately off of the fairway at the award-winning #1 rated in the state in previous years, Sand Hollow Resort Golf Club. Rooftop deck, full basement, which I love. It's kind of a bunker. It's like your little cool cave in the summertime around southern Utah. $895, guys, under $900,000. I'm showing you this house right now. If you want more details, I want you to just reach out, let us know. Say, hey, I want to know more about the Sand Hollow property. I'll send you a link. You can also look it up, though. Because you may be driving and you can't pull it up right now. It's 4985 West Boulder View. 4985 West Boulder View in Hurricane, Utah, Sand Hollow. Of course, access to the pool, 3 pools, small clubhouse there. And then one of the cool things about Sand Hollow Resort is if you're in the retreat or in Sand Hollow Resort, you get discounts on golf, preferred or preferential tea time slots, discounts at the restaurant. Guys, this is pretty freaking incredible. So this is our deal of the week, 4985 West Boulder View. And I like to sit out there and see if the golfers are hitting it just over this rock. There's a rock in this fair. You want to hit it beyond the rock, and that's going to feed all the way down to the green, and you're going to be like hitting a little pitch on a par 4. So there you go. Deal of the week. Amazing. Sub 900, Jessica, for 5,000 feet.
It's painful when I hear the story from you, and I feel for your sellers.
Yeah, you hate it, but life changes.
It is true.
Yeah, life changes. I have, we'll transition here, and I want to talk about some of the high-end properties that you're looking at.
Great.
And when we talk about painful, in the last 2 weeks, I have somebody who's just, their plans changed, and they're going to take a big loss. I have somebody else who reached out who the wife is in her 2nd round of breast cancer. They're in northern Utah. They own a property here in town. We had it professionally. We went and did some paint, added a Solitube, professionally photographed videography yesterday. They're losing some money on a home because she's dealing with cancer treatment and they need to sell it. Mm-hmm. I had a couple, definitely around 70 years old, reach out to me, downsizing clients, divorcing at that age. So, guys, life changes. In ways you don't expect.
I know we're not, this is a tangent, but I was really contemplative yesterday about this very thing. Mm-hmm.
Does Rick need to be worried?
No.
Because that was a weird segue.
No. Although he said that.
Anyway.
He said that when I have a seller right now that lost his wife. The home, although it's not huge by any stretch, it's too much for him mentally to take care of and physically. And he really needs to sell that home. It's not just and emotionally it's hard for him to be in that home. He needs to sell that home. You shared your story about your clients that are divorcing. We had a great luxury panel with some fabulous agents in town this week.
Yep.
I had the honor of hosting this panel with Margie Hare and Eddie Ortiz and Leslie Shaw, some fabulous luxury agents in town. And one of the things that Eddie shared really made me emotional because he talked about what an honor it is to be. We're enmeshed in people's lives, the beautiful and the ugly parts of their lives. And we don't, I think people forget that. And it's an honor to be there with them because life is.
Yes, it is.
Like you said, these changes come and you think, how am I going to do this? How am I going to navigate that? And so to be able to help solve those problems for people is, it's heavy, but it's a privilege.
Eddie made a comment because I was there. You did a fantastic job, by the way. You acted like you've been hosting panels like every week.
I can open a cold one.
I saw share a Diet Coke with a partner. I see it.
That's right.
Eddie made a comment, which is just absolutely accurate. You're like in people's closets.
Yeah.
And guys, when you have guests come over like friends and you suddenly try and clean your house because they said, hey, we're going to pop by with a gift or dinner or what, I don't know. We're in the neighborhood. We go in people's closets. I toured a home in Larkin yesterday. I will be in Siena Heights in Bloomington Hills today, looking at just a stunning home. Had a conversation with a downsizing client, potentially in Palisades, in Ivans. Like, we're very busy, right? And you are in their world. My gosh. And not only that, we go in their world and say, listen, I think you're great. Maybe we could clean this up a little bit. And that we have to handle that with such TLC. You met with a client of ours for 2 hours yesterday, probably, or however long it was, or an hour.
And
did a staging consultation, correct? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wow. So look, Jessica's here, Taggart, Marron. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about, first of all, luxury. Before we look at these 5 properties, a luxury home, was always like $1 million home. Well, one thing that's changed is
what you can get for $1 million.
Yeah, you could end up with like a 4-bed, 3-bath, 3,000 square foot home and be over $1 million, for sure.
Oh, easily.
Yeah. So yeah, like that's changed.
And not to negate the beautiful. I mean, I don't want to water down or sound elitist. That's like because it still is from Keller Williams defines that a price point as luxury and beyond. So, but when I did a search this morning for luxury properties and I priced it at $1 million, there were over 300 homes that came on the market.
Yeah.
And then when I did price search of $2 million.
5 years ago, there would have been like 100.
I know.
It's 3 times as many. Okay.
So then I bumped it up to 2 and above, and now we have 102.
There are 102 homes actively for sale in Washington County over $2 million. Good grief.
Yeah,
right?
It's fascinating.
Yeah. It's painful. It's definitely fascinating. And look, not to say that these aren't cool homes, because a lot of them are, but that is a wild trend. All right.
Well, and I think the thing to say about the $1 million price point too, and again, we're going to discuss this, but the spread of what you buy depends so much on where you're buying, obviously.
Yes.
But we have a beautiful listing that's 175. We started at 125.
Yes.
Fabulous. It's 3 years old, custom built, Dave Weller home.
Yep.
And it's not sitting stale. We're having activity, but
it has not moved.
But it has not moved, and there are 15 other properties that are in the same,
I can tell you right now. I mean, 4,000 square feet, 2-story, 3-car garage, one of them being an RV buy and a pool. They're just popping up like weeds in the 1.1 to 1.4 range. Like, it is absolutely kind of astonishing, right? So buyers are picky, and I don't know that they're revenge buying, but after 2021, after 2021, when people had to offer their timeshare, their kidney, and $50,000 in unmarked bills to get a home, 2021, they're frustrated, and now they're back. And I had a client on the phone yesterday say, "How's the market?" Well,
what did you say?
I said, I want to answer that with a lot of context. I said, it's going to take me 2 minutes. So instead of saying it's great, we talked about the fact that home values peaked in late 20, probably 21. I said, even still, if you're a seller, you're still sitting on the highest prices in the history of all time other than in 2021. So I said, if you've owned that 5 years and you sell it, you're winning. All right. We have about 12 minutes. I want to talk this. What are 5 of our favorite homes? Go ahead. You can share now.
Can I share?
Now. Yeah. Let's, and we'll just kind of zing through these. We're not going to look at every single,
So do you see
jot
my
and tittle.
screen?
I do not. Because you're not sharing
I
yet.
am sharing.
There you are. Now you are sharing.
Okay. I know that made me sound like a teenager right there, the way I said that. I apologize. So let's look at, first off, just from a global, if you will, bird's eye perspective. I've searched everything in Greater St. George and Hurricane.
Yep.
I think it's really interesting to look at the different, again, where are you buying? That really dictates kind of what you're going to get. a home in Stonecliff is going to look very different than a home in Little Valley.
And
right?
10 years ago, guys, if someone said where are the luxury enclaves, you'd say, Entrada, Kayenta, Stonecliff, maybe Green Spring. You didn't list anything more. Guys, there are luxury enclaves, luxury spots all over the county now. It's everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah. And what's interesting, I will say, I hear some feedback sometimes from buyers that are moving in from out of state that don't love seeing some of the older neighborhoods en route to some of these amazing.
Yeah.
And I think, well,
that must be hard for them.
That must be hard for them. I know. I didn't sound very empathetic right there, but it is interesting. It's like, well, growth is happening. And now.
Oh, I definitely was not empathetic.
I know you were.
I think they should take their judgment and really check in with God is what I actually think they should do. So, and we see this stuff.
Yeah.
By the way, fair housing's so not real. Like people make all sorts of judgments about where they live and who lives there. What I mean is those are cute rules. Human factors come play.
Right.
Yeah. Come on.
So let's start. Speaking of fair housing, let's talk about things we're not supposed to say. Right by the
9
new
minutes.
Red
I'm going to
Cliff
push you.
Temple.
I'm going to push you.
Great.
9 minutes. We got 5 properties.
So this is interesting. This home is brand new, Cedar Point Hills.
You weren't supposed to be able to say temple. For
I know.
a while.
That's why I'm saying it. I'm laughing. I'm saying it tongue in cheek. I mean, if I were listing it, I wouldn't obviously say it. But this home is located right next to the brand new Red Cliffs Temple. And what's interesting to me is I think this home is stunning. I don't know that I would want to live right in the driveway of
a gigantic
facility. I mean, or a building that
give us price point, beds, baths, square footage.
So this is $2,650,000, 5 bedrooms, 5.5 baths, just shy of 6,000
and
square
Cedar
feet.
Point, they do such a good job. Cedar Point has built 4-story homes right on the lagoon at Desert Color. And how would you even describe that house? That 1468 South? I mean, like what style? I mean, it is literally the driveway. And by the way, guys, if you're brand new to Utah, the LDS Temple, right? The LDS would be known the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, which are the Mormons, is the kind of the old slang term. Property values are extraordinary around temples, and this is statewide. Statewide. Listen,
international.
You don't even have to like these people. The fact of the matter is that property values are high around these beautiful, and they're stunning buildings. These religious buildings. Oh my gosh, right? But just FYI, you can guarantee your property values will be high and rising in those areas.
Right. So this, I mean, they build exquisite homes, and I think their millwork is amazing, and their attention to detail. And I think they've brought in a fresher design to Southern Utah, and it's really fun to watch what they do. But
$2,650,000. I mean, literally right on the main drag. Anyway,
then we have one in Hurricane, and this one is this one is 4 bedrooms, 4 baths. It's just again shy of 6,000 square feet, but it's on 5 acres. So this is their list. They just had a price reduction. They're asking just shy of $4 million. This really shows you. You know, my husband and I lived on 10 acres in Wyoming, and we had a lovely home, but we weren't.
I never knew you were on 10 acres.
We weren't selling our house for $4 million.
What did it sell for? Like $265,000. Okay.
Well. We did all right, but it certainly wasn't $4 million.
Well, Kate, so
just to put perspective of acreage and what you can get when you're looking for land. Here's why I like that home. Here's why I like that property. I want you to kick a couple of photos there as we're talking about it. Okay. We
had a 20,000 square foot. We had a 20,000 square foot home in the Parade of Homes this year. Okay, Chantry Abbott's walking by the window. I love this. 20,000 square foot home in the Parade of Homes. It was on a regular, average city street with just a sidewalk walking around it. And somebody had commented on Instagram. I'm paying $10 million, and by the way, I was told it was worth like 15. I'm paying $10 million to just like walk off of a regular sidewalk. I would expect an estate, guys, at $4 million, 10 acres. Now you're talking. Yeah. Now you're talking.
And this one's 5, but yes.
Or 5 acres. I mean,
yes,
I agree.
You're
5 acres, and now you're talking. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the Wyoming girl in me talking, but I definitely.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. So $4 million. Okay, out in Hurricane Fields.
A deal. Okay, this is in Kayenta, which Kayenta is, if you know anything about Kayenta, it is a vibe. It is a lifestyle. We rarely see lots of properties come up in Kayenta because people within Kayenta are slinging them to each other. Like they're hot.
And I want to say this about Kayenta. What they did with Kayenta is what is called LEED certified. LEED certified is where the entire, it's a community, it's not a subdivision, is certified to LEED standards for basically environmental standards. Low light, there are 0 street lights. When you build a home in Kayenta, you're required to build into the topography.
Correct.
It's not like, well, we just brought in a DC-10 and just wiped a flat pad. You can't do that.
I had clients buy something there. We wanted to do an addition, add a pool. It wasn't arduous, but the steps that we had to go through to get it permitted and make sure that it fit in the envelope of the lot. And I mean, it's a big deal, and they really value that.
They've done such a good job. It's one of my favorite places, literally in Washington County. Give us a couple more photos before we skip
look at that view. You wouldn't be mad just sitting and looking at that red rock. Gorgeous.
This stuff, and we're talking a price of $5 million. If you've got $5 million, you've got some really pretty awesome options.
And this one's a large home. It's almost 9,000 square feet. It has a basement, which you don't see all the time. That's the biggest home I've ever seen in Kayenta. I was going to say I don't.
I've never heard of a 9,000 square foot home.
No, agreed. My clients actually did put a basement in theirs, but
9,000
retroactively. But yeah, that's a big one.
So there's your Kayenta. If you're into that vibe, that desert vibe, this is like. I don't even know what to compare it to, because honestly, Kayenta is way cooler than Scottsdale or Palm Springs, like by layers, because those places are very populated.
Right.
Kayenta just feels like you're in the middle of nowhere.
It does.
Ooh, look at this place.
Yes. So this is a former parade home. R.L. Wyman built this. Yeah. It's beautiful. I loved walking through this home.
And where is this located? This
is in Little Valley.
Little Valley, $5.5 million. How big of a home are we talking about?
So we are looking at 12,000 square feet.
12,201.
Sorry, I didn't mean to.
So yeah, let's not leave that out. But if you want, I know that parade home because I've been in that parade home. So now being resold.
Yeah.
And what year was it built?
It was built in 21.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So, well, man, if you buy a $5.5 million home, you're never leaving. Yeah, not necessarily, because they probably didn't pay $5.5 million for the home. Right. So now they're moving and they're carrying their equity who knows where. Good grief, that home is wicked.
It's beautiful.
2 minutes.
All right. Well, so here's another one in Little Valley. It's on the same street, actually. And
is this Wyman?
I actually can't remember, and I didn't look. But this one is 11,300 square feet. So they're
$6,750,000.
Yeah, they're ginormous.
This is chump change. I really like that. And then, of course, you pull the Stonecliff in, and as you should have.
Yes. So this one is so beautiful. There's 2 in Stonecliff that I love. This one's a 4-bedroom, 6-bath, 6,700 square feet, and
6,700 feet you can actually live in.
It's very roomy, but it doesn't feel. Mallory laughed in the background. Why are you mocking us?
Well, I'm laughing, Mal, because do you know that 12,000 is a problem? 6,700 is a home. 12,000 is a small hotel. And I'm not afraid to have that opinion on here, which, I mean, guys, we can happily market the heck out of your property and find a buyer. But for the average person, 6,700 feet is really livable. 12,000 feet is getting crazy because most people just wouldn't have any concept in our final minute of how to live there. I really like that home. Jessica, beautiful. If somebody wanted to reach us and look at that home. Look at that home.
I know. It feels so Palm Springs, clean.
And my question is this.
I love it.
If they want to reach us, they're going to visit gostgeorge.com. That's GOSTgeorge.com or Google Larkin Group. Mm-hmm. Jessica, my question as we wrap up, or is the luxury housing market going to implode, or with the PGA Tour, et cetera, have we just gotten the engine started?
I feel like we've gotten the engine started, truly. I think nationally, Wall Street Journal came out with an article
and you've got about 20 seconds to say what you're about to say.
That it's slowing down in other places, but I feel like we're ramping up, and it's exciting to watch.
Guys, I think the sky is the limit. Visit us at gostgeorge.com.
Thanks
Google
for
the Larkin
me.
Group. Jessica, Taggart, Marron, Jeremy Larkin, talking luxury real estate. Larkin Group, KW Realty.